Ben, I'm not hearing anything.
Mike, you there?
I'm here.
All right, we're on.
Oh, great. Welcome to Sports Bite from Arizona. Ben, great to have you in studio, and I'm in the mobile ESPN Radio 1280 studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. And man, do we have an action-packed hour. No Dodgers tonight, but boy, don't go to sleep with the Dodgers behind because you were going to wake up disappointed you didn't stay awake and watch them again with one out in the ninth, nobody on. From a 2-run deficit, come from behind and win again. 51 games over 500. 51 games, my goodness gracious. And Dodgers now just rolling on a pace for 117 wins, which would be a regular season record. They don't care about that. They're happy that Kershaw's throwing off a mound, 2 innings, a simulated game yesterday, looking sharp. Yu Darvish looking a little off, but you could imagine his first start in front of the hometown faithful, the new hometown faithful, on his 31st birthday last night. A lot going on also NBA. We've got a lot of drama, this ongoing LeBron, Kyrie, Irving drama, some more information that we'll glean, share, break down with you. Some disturbing news, but some heartwarming news, touching news from Barcelona, site of today's terror attack. There were some college basketball players there on camp from Oregon State, from University of Arizona, from a couple other schools, and we'll share some stories there a little bit too. We'll talk a little bit Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor fight coming up next week. Ben, how are things in your world? How's the Central Coast today?
Oh, it's beautiful. Weather today is real nice. How is it in Arizona? Is it nice and hot?
It's about 100 here in Scottsdale. It's not bad. It's
Oh, don't
actually
worry
pretty
about
nice.
us over here on the Central Coast. We're just sunny and 75.
There you go. Always good, always nice there. I'm going to be getting up to the Arizona mountains tomorrow, doing a little socializing and a little golf for the weekend. But Dodgers off today. They'll be back tomorrow, and we'll have them right here on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket. But, Ben, give me your take on this ridiculous Dodgers run. I told someone today they had, for them, their worst homestand in a while. And they were 11-3 the last 14 games at home. What do you make of, or in August or so far? It's not a great month, and they're 11-3. Still have not lost a series since the beginning of June, June 7th to the Nationals. Give me your take. Give me your feeling about what's going on here, this craziness that's going on down at Chavez Ravine.
You know, I have a real hard time not comparing them to the Golden State Warriors because there's a lot of non-Dodger fans becoming big-time Dodger fans because they're the most fun team to watch in baseball right now. And you know how much that pains me to say.
It's tough for you to say that, I know.
These guys are 31 games over 500 with 43
51.
games left.
51 games over.
Yeah, no, 51, sorry.
51 over, yeah.
Had my stats.
And Yasiel Puig with that walk-off double last night.
And he's hit an 8.
Last night he hit 6th last night for a change. They moved him up a little bit. They gave Cody Bellinger the night off, gave the rookie the night off. He's been playing. He's been hitting out of the cleanup spot. Came in last night in a pinch hitting role. Of course, got a hit. Kept the rally going. I mean, this team continues to claw and to scratch and never say die. And there's just some kind of an energy. We were able to do, as you know, we were able to do the show, Woz and I, last Friday night from Dodger Stadium, right below the press box, and it was a blast. But the energy on the field pregame was something that you just, like you were saying, it is reminiscent, the one thing of the Warriors. Now, I'm not getting out there and saying, the Dodgers have this championship locked up. It's way different. Where the Warriors, I think their percentage of winning the championship at this point in the season last year was probably around 70% plus. The Dodgers are probably in the 30% range, according to 538.com. So baseball's different because there's so many players, so many little things can happen, can affect the outcome. Pitchers can get hot, hitters can get hot. There's things that go on in baseball that are so much different. But the way that they have been rolling is historical. And on this pace that they're going right now, 538.com's got them at a 31% chance to win the World Series with their prognosticating right now. But they also have them, Ben, at like in the top 5 Major League Baseball teams of all time. In that when they talk about the 27 Yankees with Ruth and Gehrig and all those great players. So it's just insane to think of that. And again, when Kershaw's been on the shelf for a couple of weeks too, their best player arguably.
Yeah, so I mean, these guys, this Dodgers team has people like Colin Cowherd and Jim Rome who don't always talk a whole lot of baseball on their show, talking about baseball, because these guys are so much fun to watch. And it's, again, hurts me to say this, but I've been watching more Dodgers games than Giants games.
And Ben sitting in for Woz tonight. Share with your with the listeners, with our Sports Byte listeners all throughout the Central Coast and anywhere throughout the world. You can listen live on the TuneIn on TuneIn.com. Just search ESPN 1280. Tell us who your baseball team is.
Well, I'm a huge Giants fan. Always have been. I'll never change.
Yeah, that's okay. And crazy respect for what the Giants have done, and Bruce Bochy and Buster Posey is one of my favorite players. I have respect for the Giants, but love for the Dodgers. So I know, especially for Giant fans, it seems like there's just a bad taste in their mouth when they think about the Dodgers. But how can you not enjoy, like you said, you're begrudgingly enjoying what you're seeing so far this season?
Well, yeah, and I just have to think back to 10, 12, and 14 and say, how'd that taste?
Yeah,
Dodger fans.
Yeah, and up until 10, 12, and 14, Giants were 0 for San Francisco, right? And then they go on that crazy run, win 3 out of 5 years, just an amazing stretch. This year they're down. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. 38 and a half games behind the Dodgers. That doesn't even seem possible. But Arizona and Colorado are tied for second in the National League West. They're 19 games behind the Dodgers, but wait, they're both in the playoffs as of today, and they're in there pretty easily right now.
It's kind of weird seeing how stacked the NL West is, and yet they still have 2 of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah. The Padres, not so good. Shockingly, the Giants, way worse than expected. But they're going to get back on track tomorrow night. Dodgers will be at Detroit. Rich Hill will be on the mound. You'll have the game tomorrow. The first pitch is at 4:10 p.m. right here on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. Rich Hill, who's been relatively solid as of late. He's got that funny leg kick, but the last game was last Friday night that we got to watch live, and Rich Hill got hit in the throat by a pitch, hit right in the neck, and kind of toughed it out. He was down, though. It looked like it might have been a crushed larynx or something when it first happened, but he got up and it was just bruised and swollen, and he's been doing a pretty good job spinning the ball, 3.44 ERA, and he's 8-4 on the season. But with that run support and that great team, there's so many different stories throughout, and the ones I keep going back to that I just love and is Chris Taylor and Cody Bellinger. And Chris Taylor, a guy who is on the scrap heap, a guy who looked to completely remake his game in the model of Justin Turner, who was discovered by the Dodgers 3.5 years ago at a Cal State Fullerton. Justin Turner batting .345, really hitting the long ball again now too with 17 home runs. But Turner was let go by the Mets after being let go by the Orioles, was playing in a Cal State Fullerton alumni game. Scout saw him, invited him to training camp for the Dodgers, and now here he is leading the majors in, at least leading the National League in average at .345. Really the kind of veteran catalyst to this team. But Chris Taylor saw what Justin Turner did with his career, and Taylor, struggling, former 5th-round pick by the Mariners, was batting .207 in 2016 for the Dodgers, remade his swing in the offseason, and now he's got 17 homers. He's batting .303. He's having to stay in the lineup every day. The Dodgers have found an incredible leadoff hitter, and he did not come with a big club to the major league roster to start the season. So, I mean, what a shot in the arm he's been. Of course, we've talked about Cody Bellinger with his 34 home runs, 79 RBIs. He didn't come up to the big club until April 25th and wasn't playing regularly until May. And the numbers that he's done, he's only hit more home runs, or as many as Mark McGwire has at this many games in his major league career. So he's done some crazy things, and they just continue to find different ways to win, different players contributing, and just watching how Yasiel Puig, the joy that he's playing the game with, the intensity, and also the discipline to now mature, lay off bad pitches. But I got to tell you,
it's refreshing seeing him do well.
And I love the entertainment value of him kissing Turner Ward on the cheek with home runs, but also thanking and giving props to Turner Ward, the hitting coach of the Dodgers, for how good he's been hitting and how disciplined he's been getting. He used to hate to walk, and now he's getting some key walks along with that walk-off double last night.
Well, a couple of years ago, the Dodgers were done with Puig. They were finished with him.
Yeah.
And now it's
totally last year.
Good thing they stuck with him. Anyways, what happens when Adrian Gonzalez comes back?
My feeling is Dave Roberts, Doc, the manager of the Dodgers, and his initials are DR for Dave Roberts, but they call him Doc, doctor, as you can see, baseball lingo. But Dave Roberts has said Adrian Gonzalez is going to be a situational guy. He could give Cody Bellinger a little rest. Now, remember, Cody Bellinger played some great left field earlier in the season as well. So you could have, if that experienced hitter that is Adrian Gonzalez, if he's hot, if he's hitting the ball, you could put Cody Bellinger in left and move Chris Taylor, who his normal position is second base. And although Logan Forsythe's been reasonably solid, there's been a platooning. Logan Forsythe and, of course, the Silver Fox, the old 40-year-old second baseman for the Dodgers from the Phillies, and I'm blanking right now on his name. Oh, gosh darn it. It's I'll come up with it here one second. It is Chase Utley, sorry.
Right.
Chase Utley. They've been platooning those two, but Chris Taylor could move there. So if you've got a hot bat in Adrian Gonzalez, you could still keep Taylor and Bellinger in the lineup, which you have to. You got to keep those guys in the lineup. Then you got Andre Ethier in there, and Jock Peterson he's been really, really, really struggling.
Right.
Peterson plays a nice outfield. He got a nice run by walking into a pitch 2 nights ago when the Dodgers were down 1-0, then tied 1-1, and they rallied for 5 runs in the 8th to win the game. On Tuesday night, they won the game 6-1 against the White Sox, the first game of that series. But with his struggles at the plate, and he has not shown signs of coming out of it lately. He's been really having a lot of trouble of late, Jock Peterson, with the bat, unfortunately, and we'll see what he does. But there could be something with Andre Ethier as he's getting healthy. If he's swinging the bat, we know he plays a solid outfield. He usually plays left field, but he has played some center in his time too. So the month of September is going to be all about getting Kershaw sharp and getting him some work. It's going to be about getting the rotation set and healthy, working on you, Darvish, because we know, I don't know what you've seen from Darvish, but I see the electric pitches and him not really quite being under control of those electric pitches. He's got so much stuff and so many pitches. He's got like 7 pitches he can go to, but kind of honing that in, getting him confident. You'd have a rotation most likely of Kershaw, Darvish, Alex Wood, who's had a sensational year, 14-1, almost got his 15th win the other night, and then Rich Hill.
So what you're saying is all the problems the Dodgers have are not bad problems to have.
They're about as good a problem as you could have. You always want to have.
It's like, darn, I have too much money.
Like the Warriors,
right?
I mean, well, oh my gosh, what are they going to do with all the crazy stuff that's going on with them getting Kevin Durant last year, right? Having that extra player, and while I don't really look at it as the whole team's not all stars, because you've got these guys who have emerged from nowhere, like a Chris Taylor, like a Cody Bellinger, where the Warriors really didn't have that. They had some good role players that came up, but you knew what you had with Steph Curry. He was not a top couple draft choice, and he's been a phenomenal find. And according to a couple of basketball players, not one of the top 5 players, but I think undoubtedly one of the top 5 players in the NBA. And of course, Kevin Durant now argued about as maybe being the top player along with LeBron James. We're going to talk some more basketball later, but these Dodgers, we'll see. Bryce Harper has been injured. How is he going to come back? It'll be about a month before he comes back.
I can't believe it's not longer.
It is. I mean, was that the craziest play you ever saw?
It made me want to throw up. Oh, shins aren't supposed to bend that way.
Oh my gosh. And just tells you what kind of great freak athlete that Bryce Harper is to be in that good a shape. that he was able to bounce back from that kind of injury with the slipping on the wet base in the drizzle there. It was a very interesting issue that he did have. But I'll tell you what, the Nationals have a great pitching staff. So the Dodgers, I think they got to be worried about the Nationals. The Cubbies have yet to kind of get on track. They have taken a lead over the Cardinals, but the Dodgers, I think, with having Steven Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, and of course Max Scherzer for the Nationals, those are as good a three arms as you've got in all of Major League Baseball. And I look for that. I mean, it could go. That's a series that could go either way, I think.
It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait for this MLB postseason.
It should be really fun. The Indians look good as well. They've been playing well. We know their coach, the former Red Sox manager, Tito. He's so good and so solid. And they've got a nice staff. They've got good hitting. They're very solid. The Astros have been the great surprise. Jose Altuve's probably going to be the MVP over there in the American League. Angels on a run right now, getting back in the race for a wild card across town. The Angels are playing better baseball. Mike Trout getting back and healthy, and of course Albert Pujols still hitting at his advanced age. But I love the postseason. I love. Typically, this is a boring time of year, and with this big a lead, you, for sure, being a Giants fan, would be thinking, why would I even think about watching the Dodgers? But what they're doing, the things they're doing, are so much fun. I think they're making them, one of the best watches on television right now that you've got.
Well, and they're on track to get that 116 mark. I know they don't care about it, but we certainly do.
Well, and I think you've got to almost not care to have a chance for something like that. You can't put too much effort or interest in it. I know the Warriors kind of did care about it. And I think that war
that
on
hurt
them, it hurt them. But you see Dave Roberts, sitting Cody Bellinger last night. You see things like Darvish getting taken out of the game, probably an inning early.
That was the right move.
I think it was too. And he's doing those kind of things that are thinking about October, not thinking about 116 or 117 victories. So,
and it might not matter.
Right.
They're playing good enough right now with offense. It might not matter.
It might not matter. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad we're getting the Dodgers out of the way in the first segment because I can't talk about them anymore.
Don't tempt me, there, man. Don't tempt me there. Hey, so the other thing we're gonna tease. We'll talk some more. We'll definitely talk some NBA because a lot going on. You and I talked earlier today, back and forth about NBA basketball, about this ongoing drama. Some more things revealed today by some of the reporters on the inside. We'll talk more about that in the second segment. We'll talk a little bit about Mayweather and McGregor. We talk about how that's shaping up. There's some things. One of his Conor McGregor's sparring partner, Conor's been releasing edited tape showing how he's saying how he dominated his sparring partner, who was a really good fighter, and the fighter saying he won about 20 seconds out of 20 minutes of fighting. So we'll hear about that a little bit, and we'll talk. We'll maybe sneak in a little more Dodger talk because we are the home of the Dodgers right here on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. It's the Sports Bite on a Thursday. We won't be with you on Friday because Dodgers will be here, Ben. For Ben, this is Mike Abrahams. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
We're back to the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Oh, it is a Sports Bite Thursday. Mike Abrahams here with you on the Sports Bite. Ben sitting in for Woz. Hey, Ben, we got to talk a little bit today. We both love dramas. And this drama between this off-season NBA drama between Kyrie Irving and LeBron James just keeps getting deeper and juicier.
Better than a soap opera.
It really is. Give me your quick take on some of the nuggets that were released today. There was a couple, one from Chris Sheridan and another one from Chris Broussard. The two Chris's dropped some knowledge on us today. Give me your take on what went down in the LeBron-Kyrie saga.
Well, the two Chris's kind of go hand in hand today. So Chris Sheridan, first of all, he was the one that released before it happened that LeBron was going back to Cleveland from Miami. And so he's very well trusted on LeBron subjects specifically. So anyways, today he says LeBron 100% will not be in Cleveland next season. So this 2018 season, he'll be there. After that,
100%.
100%. Wow. That's a bomb drop.
That's a huge bomb drop. And Chris Sheridan is a guy who had it right early with LeBron leaving Miami for the Cavaliers. He's no longer in media anymore, and he completely had nailed it. Now, Chris Broussard came on and said, pump the brakes on that, didn't he?
Yeah. So Chris Broussard comes on Colin Cowherd's show today. Probably one of the best heard segments I've ever heard was this little 10-minute segment with Chris Broussard, who's Fox Sports' really leading NBA analyst. But anyways, Chris Broussard comes on to talk about Kyrie a little more than about LeBron, and the two stories mesh together a little bit. So he says within his inner circle, Kyrie Irving before the before the draft this year had a deal to go to Phoenix Suns for Eric Bledsoe and the 4th overall pick, thus giving Cleveland all the power, and then having Cleveland send that 4th overall pick to Indiana and get Paul George to Cleveland, effectively making a trade for Kyrie Irving and Paul George and Eric Bledsoe, which the owner of the Cavs goes to LeBron James and says, hey, this is a great deal. Do you want to do this? If you do want to do this, we need a long-term commitment from you. LeBron says, no long-term commitment. Read into that if you will.
What it really brings out to me, Ben Fletcher, is that maybe there isn't a huge bad guy here either with Kyrie, I don't think at all, because Kyrie asked for a trade after he found out that the Cavs tried to pull off this pre-draft trade, which is a pretty good trade.
It made it seem like LeBron didn't want Kyrie there anymore. He wanted Bledsoe and Paul George, but LeBron didn't even want that.
But guess what? LeBron wants to get the heck out of Cleveland.
You mean
that's the bottom
go
line.
for LeBronzo, if you will?
LeBronzo. Yeah, let's have some LeBronzo, which, you know what? And I'm a lifelong Laker guy.
Right.
Love the Warriors, but I'm a lifelong Laker fan. Grew up with Chick Hearn, grew up with Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, and then Kareem and Magic and James Worthy and Norm Nixon and all the great Lakers stars. Anyway, and then, of course, into Shaq and Kobe, Robert Horry, Big Game Bob, and everything. Anyway, the Lakers, and I think LeBron could do this, Lonzo's going to need the ball in his hands because Lonzo is not an off-the-ball player.
Right.
I think a lot of what Kyrie does and what Kyrie envisions himself as is something he hasn't really been allowed to do with LeBron, which is be a true point guard. LeBron dominates the basketball. And Woz will talk about this all the time. LeBron really dominates the basketball. He really is like a point forward. It's his team. It's his ball. He's going to decide where it moves. Now, he makes everybody better because he is a heck of a passer. We know he's got more of a physical presence in basketball than anyone ever has. I don't care what you say about Michael Jordan. You can have an argument that Michael was a better basketball player in the 6 rings, and we can go into that whole thing. But LeBron, as far as a physical specimen built for playing basketball, none better. Great basketball IQ. But so it takes Kyrie off of a true traditional point guard position, moves him into kind of a hybrid 2-guard point guard kind of position. And his thought, his desire, his reasoning about, hey, everybody talking about Kyrie wants to be the man. He wants to get out of LeBron's shadow. Well, going down to San Antonio, Ben, I don't think accomplishes that for Kyrie.
Because
they've got Kawhi Leonard, and everyone always has to defer with Popovich.
Right.
But you know what it does? Tony Parker would be out of there. He would be a backup. Kyrie would be a true point guard.
Which I think that's what he wants. Not necessarily to be the guy, the man. He wants to be a true point guard, which would fit in well with the Spurs. But we'll see, what can they give Cavs? We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting no matter what. Today just got a little more interesting.
It got a lot more interesting. Hearing some of the breakdown on what's going on, and for Broussard, but also for Sheridan. Sheridan, they went back to Sheridan, who really isn't in media anymore. And Colin Cowherd went back to him today after talking to Broussard. And Broussard said he talked with LeBron's inner circle, Maverick Carter, and some of those guys who are his business guys. And they 100% said, no, LeBron hasn't made he's not 100% going. He hasn't made a decision. He's not going to make a decision until the season's over. Well, you know what? They're gonna have to say that to save face,
obviously,
to keep LeBron's image up, and that's what Sheridan was saying. He's saying they have to take that tack. What Colin Cowherd said on his show was LeBron was all over social media today. He was all over Twitter with different stuff. He didn't make one peep saying that Chris Sheridan's tweet was inaccurate.
Which is
he didn't
weird,
say that
because
really
historically,
weird.
As soon as someone says something about LeBron in the media, whether it be Stephen A. Smith, whether it be Skip Bayless, LeBron immediately tweets back and says,
"Oh yeah,
nope,
he's got rabbit ears."
Deny. But LeBron's not denying, so I'm saying it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I really look at it and say, you know, the word that we heard, Chris Eves? God, I forget his first name. Eves from ESPN. He used to be with Fox. Good reporter. He does SportsCenter now and stuff. But Eves said from inside of LeBron's camp, he said, I will say this unequivocally, that I know for a fact LeBron's business team is making the move to LA. They're planning it right now.
Well, LeBron lives there.
He does, and he calls it home. Well, yeah, it's home in the off season. It's becoming more and more home. He is a great, he's a great businessman, and I think there is an attraction and a feeling how great a businessman Magic Johnson has been and what he's done post NBA. And being such a driving force, LeBron has a social conscience, and he likes to help others, and he likes to help unfortunate other people with a leg up, with a hand up. And I think Magic Johnson's done a lot of that with business development in the inner city and a lot of things that he's done. And I think Magic Johnson radiates positive energy and charisma. He always has. And I think there's got to be attraction. Although, Jerry West has been incredible. Jerry West, even though he's sharp, even though he's young at heart, he's 80 years old now. And I think there's a connection with LeBron. Magic was on the sidelines in New York the other day when LeBron was playing the pickup game. Woz was talking about it on air. Magic and LeBron had some bromance glances, some smiles and flirtation with each other during that game. And I'm not going to call it a done deal. And I'm not going to say even with LeBron, with Paul George, if Lonzo turns out to be as good or better than advertised, that makes them a favorite in the West. But it does make them a playoff team and does make them competitive. I still think the Warriors are going to be around for a long, long time. Their only issue is going to be how to keep everybody happy money-wise on that team.
And keep everybody healthy as they get a little older, but here and there.
They're pretty darn young right now, though, too. I mean, except for Iguodala and maybe Livingston on those knees. But I think it makes for a very interesting twilight of LeBron's career to come into LA to try to win a championship in LA, to try to rebuild the Laker brand that really has been sullied and tarnished over the last 5-6 years after what Jimmy Buss, and you've got to put some of the blame, Mitch Kupchak too, on what they've done after Dr. Jerry Buss passed. It has not been the same franchise. It hasn't been run the same. And you can also look back to, Ben, what happened with that night when the Lakers had a Chris Paul trade done, ready to go. And the league vetoed. Yeah, the league vetoed that. And some of these other trades, my goodness gracious, Kevin Durant can go to the Warriors, but Chris Paul can't go to the Lakers. I mean,
well, it's a new NBA since then. But the other thing to deal with LeBron possibly moving to LA, which good for him if it happens, but LeBron wants to be an owner, which is why he's looking at these guys like Magic Johnson who have worked their way into running an NBA team. LeBron wants to own an NBA team, and he needs to think where his brand off the court, because he's going to make his money on the court regardless. He needs to go where he thinks his brand off the court is going to make him the most money so he can get in that realm, because NBA teams are expensive, and he's not going to want to buy a low-grade team. He's going to want to buy a high-grade team.
Absolutely.
So this will be interesting, seeing how much he can do off the court once he gets to LA, because he has his TV show, his pizza thing that he did, but we'll see how he continues to grow.
He's Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze Pizza.
Blaze Pizza. We've got one of his franchises right there off of Foothill in San Luis Obispo. And I mean, I think there's over 100 and something stores throughout the country, and it's done very well. But so he's got some good business interests and some good business instincts. So he's trying to grow them, and it seems to be a very, very good place for business, for a celebrity, for an athlete, is in Southern California, just south of us in LA. And it doesn't seem like anything better than putting on the Forum blue and gold and trying to resurrect the brand that is the LA Lakers. But we won't know for sure, will we, Ben, until
it's 100%. Chris Sheraton, 100%. You don't hear media throw that number around.
100% Chris Sheraton, and he's been solid with takes in the past.
Right.
This isn't some, as Colin said, this isn't some 19-year-old blogger who's throwing out some guess. This is someone with some real facts, a real track record, and some real solid knowledge that he's done in the past. Well, interesting to hear on all that's going on with LeBron. We're getting closer and closer. As we get closer to NFL, in the next segment, we'll talk a little NFL football. We'll talk a little Christian McCaffrey, which I love that guy. I love the way he plays.
He's
I want to hear your take. We want to hear your take on him, Ben. And we'll maybe talk a little Mayweather and McGregor. Who knows? We might even sneak in a little more Dodgers because Ben wants to. Sitting in for Woz, Ben Fletcher on the Sports Bite along with Mike Abrahms. This is ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. Don't go away. We will be right back.
We're back to the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Yes, we're enjoying a Thursday on the Sports Bite. The Mobile Sports Bite studio in thanks. The Mobile Sports Bite studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. Mike Abrahams here with you, sitting in for Mike Wozniak, Ben Fletcher on the controls back at the palatial, luxurious ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket studios in San Luis Obispo. Ben, we've got preseason football. College football kicks off very soon. In fact, our Cal Poly Mustangs will be going at it a week from Saturday at home, hosting Colgate. The Raiders come into town in 4:00 game, and Woz and I will be with you on the Sports Bite. We'll be doing a special Sports Bite on Tuesday, live from the Santa Maria Country Club. We'll have Coach Tim Walsh, and he'll have his first Tim Walsh coaches show next Tuesday evening, getting ready for that first game of the season. The team has been playing, practicing very intensely. They had their little inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday, going at it harder and quicker than usual. The club looks really sharp, really fit, getting really ready for a great run, I think, this year. And so we're excited for that. Dodger fans, don't worry. I think we're going to have the Dodgers over on K-Jewel 1400. We'll let you know what's going on with that next Tuesday. Dodgers off tonight. Dodgers will be back right here on 1280 The Ticket. 4:10 first pitch will be at 3:00, I believe. Dodger pregame right here on ESPN Radio 1280 tomorrow. But tonight you got Ben Fletcher sitting in for Mike Wozniak, Mike Abrahams here on the Sports Bite, and we're going to talk some NFL football.
But
the Raiders.
For 1 second, before we get into that, I was actually able to sit down with Joe Prothero, our fullback. Last week I was able to. He's up for the Walter Payton Award. But anyways,
that is awesome.
Yeah. I was able to sit down and have a little 10-minute interview with him last week, and he just, the confidence in his eyes and how he's ready to go, this is going to be a fun year for them. Their running attack is just going to be pound, pound, pound. It's going to be awesome.
Tell us a little bit, how does Joe feel? How is he going into the season? How's his conditioning level and strength compared to what it was a year ago, which was remarkable?
I mean, he looks incredible. He says he feels incredible. He didn't have any ice packs or anything, and it was right after practice when I talked to him. But he's excited. He says the team's ready to go. They're all in the mental position that they should be. He said last year he didn't really feel quite as comfortable being a leader and telling people to get stuff going, but now he says the team is mentally engaged and locked in. The scrimmage they had was really good. Really, everyone was playing hard, and he's really excited to get out there and start playing.
Talking about no ice packs, segueing right in to the NFL. 40-year-old Tom Brady says he's in better shape at 40 than he was at age 30, or even as a rookie. He's saying that after practice, he's not sore anymore. He doesn't hurt. And he says he's never sore. He says he could practice every day, twice a day. He's just having fun competing. What the heck? Now, he's not getting hit. We know the rules have changed over the last decade or two substantially in the NFL. But what do you attribute to that? I mean, gosh, you hear about NFL players and the aches and pains. Brady just blessed with a great body, but also with that incredible determination to really change his diet, change his habits, change his workout regimen to keep him going. He wants to go another 4 or 5 years.
Right. And I mean, you said it, the diet. And he attributes it all to that. And I mean, yeah, there are rule changes in the NFL. He's not getting hit nearly as much, especially in practice. Belichick would have a cow if someone took a shot at Brady. But
right.
I think that the diet thing's really helping him. You know, his wife has even come out and said, you know, the way he's eating is really doing everything. Like, he's doing something right. Get me on the Tom Brady diet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I need to get on the Tom Brady diet. Mike Chelson, are you listening? We need to get on the Tom Brady diet. I think it's the way to stay young as we, because he's 40. I'm soon to be what's regarded as the new 40, which is 60. But we got to stay well and healthy. Hey, who have you liked, Ben? Right now, Jameis Winston and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the field playing against the Jaguars right now. Who have you liked? What have you liked so far in this preseason? A couple quick scores. Baltimore 13-7 over Miami. Philadelphia 13-6 over Buffalo. Tampa Bay 9-0. Not really scores and wins mattering much, but what do you like about some of the young players coming out this season that are rookies?
Jameis Winston's my favorite player in the NFL right now.
Wow.
And it's coming from Hard Knocks.
That's high praise.
I was watching. Did you see the Sunday walkthrough on ESPN with him where Jameis Winston's going through the back
Behind
ends?
the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows everybody's name. He
impressive.
is walking through the sales staff and he's saying hi to guys he like hangs out with and rings the bell. You know, everyone loves him to death, and I'm jumping on the train. This guy was my fantasy quarterback last year. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest fantasy numbers, but he's a lot of fun to watch, and he is a winner, and that's how he carries himself. And I can't wait to see what happens with his career. He's young, he's a stud athletic-wise, and I'm on board.
He's got that it factor as well. You talk about that it factor. Tom Brady's got it. Magic Johnson, we talked about. LeBron, Steph Curry. Quarterbacks need to have it factor. Now, some quarterbacks win Super Bowl championships without it, but Jameis has definitely got it. He's got that charisma. He's got that smile. I think Marcus Mariota is every bit in that league with Jameis Winston as far as talent's concerned, but Mariota's personality isn't as engaging or charismatic, I don't think, as Jameis. And I think maybe that makes the rest of your team better. This is a great opportunity for the Bucs to take a step forward. Now, in California, well, at least for a few more years, the Raiders, before they move to Las Vegas. But in California now, we have the Rams back, obviously. And the Rams, Jared Goff trying to get better. What have you seen him in his second season? Has Sean McVay helped his progression? And the Chargers trying to make a stand. It's a battle for L.A. Who's going to win the hearts of L.A. here between the Chargers and the Rams over the next season or two?
Who knows? It'll be fun to have two teams that close to each other. But You were talking about Jared Goff. I feel like everything Jameis Winston has with the way he walks, I haven't seen that out of Goff. And I want him to be great. But
yeah, he seems like a nice young man. But I'm with you. I mean, I see more of it out of the great quarterback, the young guy out of the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, who was taken right behind him in the draft.
Right. I mean, like I said, it is the most important thing for a quarterback. You said that just now. And I don't see Jared Goff having it yet. Not saying he can't get it. But if you watch the way some of these quarterbacks walk around, Aaron Rodgers, definitely the most, they're winners.
Yes.
And when you can tell someone's a winner by the way they walk, it doesn't matter who's surrounding them. They're going to make them better.
They've got to make them better. And you know what? As far as quarterbacks, and they are so key, it's so critical. Aaron Rodgers, I still think, is head and shoulders up there, the best talented one. Tom Brady's got that it. He's got that leadership, which is different. Carson Wentz is the quarterback we're talking about.
Yeah.
The second-year quarterback. and they've got their backup, Nick Foles. He's had some pretty solid games too. But Wentz, I think he's got a little bit of that. I think he's got a little bit of
swagger for sure.
For swagger, Sam Darnold, I think, has got that down at USC, who's going to be going into his redshirt year in USC. Big things are thought of him. Just that confidence, that swagger, the way he walks around. John Buccigross on ESPN loves to talk about his wonderful red salad underneath his helmet on top of his head that he's got. His hair. But Darnold, some of the throws he makes are incredible. And some of those throws that kind of nerves of a jewel thief or the ice water in your veins kind of a thing, but also that little smile that knows like, hey, we're going to get this done. I don't care. I'm not worried about failing. We're going to go win. There is something to be said without a doubt with that. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about some things that have been happening around the world. Some very tragedy happened today in Barcelona, a terrorist attack, but some heartwarming stories with that too. Sitting in for Mike Wozniak, Ben Fletcher on the Sports Bite along with Mike Abrahms. Don't go away. We'll be right back for our last segment in just a minute.
All right, we're going to have to go real quick right now before Sports Bite is over. In Barcelona, some scary things happened this morning, or at 5 p.m. local time.
Yes, they did.
And luckily, all college basketball players were okay, but right outside of the Oregon State Hotel, there was a van terror incident in which the athletic director of Oregon State and his wife were separated. Jeff Macy, the athletic director,
yes,
him and his wife ended up having to stay in a local shopkeeper's house because they weren't allowing anyone back into the hotel. But good for them. Everyone is okay. I think we're going to have to wrap it up. Take us out, Mike.
Yeah, our hearts and prayers go out to all the people injured and dead on the terror attack. It's always horrible. One in Barcelona today. Thoughts and prayers for the college basketball players. Oregon State, Clemson, Arizona were there, but it was great. Always sitting in with you, Ben, doing a great job sitting in for Woz, and look forward to it next time. This is the Sports Bite. Ben Fletcher sitting in for Woz. Mike Abrahms with you on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. Dodgers tomorrow night, and we'll be back with you on Tuesday live from Santa Maria Country Club.
This has been the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. The Sports Bite has been brought to you by Sunset Honda, Chumash Casino, and by Bud Light. Listen to the Sports Bite here on your ticket to the best sports talk lineup in America. ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.